I've been using my current racing simulator setup for 1 whole year. I've just done a review on the Thrustmaster TX, so if you'd like to see more information on that, then you can click the card in the corner and check out my 1 year user review for the Thrustmaster TX. But today is all about the Fanatec V3s, the first and best upgrade that I did on my wheel, because the pedals really do increase or better your pace. Not increase your pace, you want to be faster. You want to decrease how long it takes. Wait, increase your pace. Pace is like how fast you're going. You do want to increase how fast you're going. You want to decrease time. Either way, pedals will influence how good you are the most. I briefly forgot to explain as well. What I want to do is I want to explain visually what I rate the wheel and why I give it that, or the audible reasoning why, the rating. So what I'll do is give a number rating first of all, and then I'll go into explaining why I gave it that, hopefully conveying the information the best I can to the most amount of people depending on how you learn. So with that said, we're going to cover how they've been for 1 whole year. Just like my TX review on the wheel, we are going to cover 4 different categories. These include the value, to work out if it's worth the dollars that they cost. We're then going to talk about the feel, or what they like to use. Then the durability. You don't want things falling apart on you when you pay for them. And finally, the versatility. How many different ways can you use it? Or are you going to get your use out of it? For instance, does it work with only 1 wheel or many different wheels? Because that would be important too when it comes to sim racing. When we cover that, then I'll leave you with some final thoughts on the wheel, like a summary, and if I've had any issues with it at all. That'll lead us into the first category. We'll be starting from the bottom, working our way up in the order that I just gave it to you in. And that's how many ways can it be used in, the versatility of the pedals. So I have a Thrustmaster wheel, and it comes with, or I did have Thrustmaster wheel with some dodgy pedals, because they do come with a basic brake and throttle pedal, and that's it. There's no clutch like the Logitechs that come with that, and they're really terrible. It's probably one of the worst pedals you can get in the market. So I quickly wanted to upgrade that, and a good Black Friday deal, wasn't really too much of a deal, from Fanatec come up, and I grabbed the pedals, so it actually come for free with the brake rubber upgrade. Okay, just a little kit. I've got it here. So just a little kit. You get the Club Sport Pedals V3 Brake Performance Kit. So it's actually just some rubbers. So it looks like on the inside. As you can see, we've got some green ones, some red ones. There's 2 in there that I've already put in. And you have an upgraded spring and some grease. So pretty nice little thing. It comes with it for free. You can normally buy this for 50 Australian dollars off the website anyway. And I think with all pedals that you buy these days, it also come with the different pedal plates, which I highly recommend putting on. This for a few reasons. One, it mimics different or more high-end pedals better. You'll see with the high-end pedals, they normally follow the same type of design. A bit more length to them, so you've got more leverage, so more detail in your use of the pedal. Because if you had a really short pedal, right, like a stupidly short pedal and only covered your heel, it's going to be really hard to press that in very small details. So you want it to mimic the better ones more, so that's always a good thing. It's a little bit longer, so it gives you the bit more reach, because if you have shoes on, your toes hang over the top, so you can't really feel through your toe properly. And also they're textured, so you can grip onto them a bit better. Either way, I think they're just better pedals than the flat-faced metal ones that you normally get, so I highly recommend changing those. They were super easy to plug into the wheel. They plug into most wheels really. It's just by this little USB connection. Sorry, not USB, universal connection. They also come with a second cord, which you don't have to use. I think it's for different wheel brands or whatever. So versatility, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Pretty much works with everything. The only reason I didn't give it a full 10 out of 10 is because maybe there's something I'm missing. I know Fanatec like to go into a full ecosystem. So I'd imagine that, you know, they want to stick to that as best they can. If they're not already, they might in the future, where they kind of, you know, build connections around their own wheel. I'm kind of speculating a little bit here. Either way, it's very versatile. You're not going to have too much trouble using them with many different things. Then the durability. You'll find when you pick them up, they're nice and heavy. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We've got the versatility, 9 out of 10. Durability, 8 out of 10. When you first get the box and lift them up, they're quite heavy, you know, big heavy metal base. they're built to have your foot pressing on them. And in that sense, like, you want them to be very sturdy. So the weight justified that once you kind of consider it. The mechanism, everything seems to be pretty solid, pretty good. And nothing has seemed like it could break or even has a chance to break at all. There is one little thing. The spacers are actually... There was two things that did kind of catch my attention though in a negative way. First of all was the vibration pack on the back of the throttle pedal. Unless you have it done up really, really well, tends to vibrate itself off. Which kind of makes sense, right? It's vibrating, bolts are going to shake and undo themselves. The problem is the way that the connections have been built. It's quite hard to access these double bolts, or a bolt, the thread and the nut on the end of it, either side, 4 of them, and have the pack between. There's not much room, and a couple of times I've put the pedals back together if I wanted to change out the brake dampeners, the rubbers in between the thing and whatever, or the spring. I wanted to change the spring. There's been twice where I wanted to pull the pedals apart nonetheless. And then you're like, oh, I didn't put it back in this exact specific way. Now I can't get one of the nuts done up. So that was super annoying. And then in Formula 1 2019, I was playing it and it actually vibrated the pack off. So I ended up just turning off the feature altogether. I turned off the rumble feature, which is actually quite a cool thing. You know, you hit the mediums, the strip, you know, on the edge of the track, rumble strip, and it shakes the pedal base, right? You can't feel if you've got shoes on. If you've got socks on, it's a bit gimmicky. It doesn't make it any quicker or anything, but it's fun nonetheless. It just adds a bit more coolness to it. But it's vibrating the pack off, and you don't want a single piece of wire hanging with this vibration pack on the end of it, which it did. It come off and it's hanging below the pedals. Won't cut itself. It won't get caught at all from what I've seen, but it's annoying nonetheless. So that's the reason why it didn't get rated higher. Is maybe there's a different way to kind of rearrange these nuts in their design that would have made it a bit easier to put together and not run into this issue. So 8 out of 10 on the durability. Otherwise, the metal, the base, everything, there's no flex, and super strong base. Then we've got the feel. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 to the feel. The only limitation here is that the throw, I think throw is the right word, the travel distance on the brake isn't much. Now when I first got this, I realized it didn't move much at all. I'm like, wow, that's a bit weird. Especially if you wind out the red bar, which makes it harder to press, which I don't think you should. You should have it you should strengthen the rubbers and have it wound out as far as you can so you get a bit more travel distance, because that's the only limitation. I think having more travel distance is better as long as it's nice and consistent all the way through. So it lacks a little bit in the travel distance, but otherwise it is the single biggest upgrade I've had to my simulator racing stuff. Helps with pace, helps with being smoother on the throttle, saving your tire wear, driving better, driving faster. All of it comes from a nice set of pedals. And the only way you can get better than this is if you went for the high-end pedals, because they have this nice center market here, which they completely own in my thoughts. You've got the basic pedals that come with, they're cheap and they're terrible, that come with wheels, right? G920 pedals, which actually aren't the worst. They got the clutch, the brake, and the throttle, which is a cool, nice set. And then you've got Thrustmasters, which are just plastic, worse than the Logitech ones. So I really recommend trading them out, getting upgraded ones. And you've only got a few options. You go Fanatec V3s or high end. And all the high ends, which we'll talk about in value a little bit more, or in the price coming up next, are over the $1,000 mark, and these ones coming at $500. So I really feel like they own the market, and you can get a set of these. And I know people, not personally, but I've seen the internet, with high-end rigs still running the Fanatec V3s that they've probably had for a very long time. They keep their resale value. Overall, the super good feeling pedal, right? We're not talking about the price at all. If we are talking about price, that'd be nearly a 10 out of 10 in the feel for what you get. But price aside, because that's its own category, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 because it's really, really good. There's only a select amount of brands that make pedals that can be better. So I'm trying to compare with what is actually out on the market. But to me, they are the best upgrade I've ever done with my rig. I'm very happy I did it. And they're quite hard to find, so I had to buy them brand new, and they hold the value and all the above. So super, super good pedals in that regard. Then we'll talk about the price or the value. So the value of the pedals is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, depending if you're having a good day or not. Like I said, I feel like they own the whole market when it comes to that mid-ranged pedal. Like I'm not aware of one that can beat them, and what they supply. They're built well, they're a solid addition, they work with a lot of different wheels and things like that. So in reality, I'm probably going to give it a 10 out of 10 here. It just depends if you're someone that wants to pay $500 for Fanatec V3s and get relatively good pedals, like pretty good pedals, or if you want to look at the $1,000 to $2,000 mark for the real high end to get that 10 out of 10 driving sensation, that driving immersion and feel and control, in the trade-off for paying double as much, sometimes triple as much as these ones. So depends where your kind of thoughts and feelings lie, with if you want to jump straight to the high end or not. But if you're someone that doesn't have a whole lot of money to blow, but you really want to get the most out of your sim racing gear, this is kind of flowing into my final thoughts of the pedals, then I highly recommend getting the Fanatec V3s. They've treated me very well. There is one concern though I've had with the pedals, and this may just be a personal thing because I have a husky dog. So I had to give him a quick cleanup before because hair, it's the dog's shedding. Somehow hair makes it onto the bottom of the rig and gets up underneath the pedals and stuff. And that may have incorporated with this, or maybe it's me and how I set it up. Because when you pull it apart and put the new rubbers in and stuff, maybe I didn't put enough grease. I think I did. But either way, the brake pedal makes this noise that has annoyed me beyond belief on a couple of different times. I'll demonstrate. This is the throttle. The throttle's in. Brake, clutch. So everything's very sturdy. And it seems to have reduced itself a little bit. But probably 2 weeks ago, the throttle pedal, when I back off, right, coming into a corner, you flat out up the main straight, back off onto the brakes, would make a squeak as it released. So I put a heap of lithium grease on it, it wouldn't stop it. So it's something to do with the rubbers in between, so I have to pull it apart and try and fix that. That's a little bit annoying, and I'm not sure if it's on my behalf that issues occurred, or there's just something with the design and how if you let off the throttle really quick that there's a bit of the angle of the rubber gets moved or something. Maybe there's a piece of hair stuck in there from the dog because he sheds everywhere. Who knows? That's my only gripe with this wheel, is that squeak noise, or the bolts and how it's a little bit annoying. You have to do them in a certain order in order to get everything on, or else you'll get stuck with, oh, now I can't tighten up the rumble pack on the back of the wheel good enough because I've already got the 4 side bolts on. So I have to remove some and do this first and put it together. But otherwise, once that's set up, the wheels are just turn it on and play, super reliable in every other aspect that I've come across. And I think it's well worth that $500 to $550. Just make sure that you put on the upgraded pedals that it comes with. And if you can get that brake rubber upgrade kit, well then that's a bit nicer too, to get a little bit more strength and control on how you want the wheels. So do you want one hard rubber, one soft, too hard? You can interchange them and a bit of trial and error to see which one you want. But either way, the info is probably out on the internet as well if you wanted the best way to set them up. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video helped you out at all with your endeavor of buying new pedals or finding out more information about it before you do, or maybe you just wanted to watch an info to see what they're like, then I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see any more sim racing or gaming content, then you can always press the subscribe button to see future videos come up in your subscription feed. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.